Abe and I are on tour today. Amy is in Ontario. I'm just wondering how long it's going to take her to be carless. She's got a rental right now. For those of you guys who weren't paying attention, somebody rear-ended Amy on the QEW on the way to Ollie's baseball game the other day, and she had my car. So it looks like we were going to trade it in anyway, but now it's going to be more of a forced trade-in than it was an optional trade-in. Next week. So Ava and I are here. I'm going to Ontario tomorrow. HRU, Curtis and Jamie do the HRU twos and training video. They've been after me for 2 weeks to get it done. Ollie plays baseball tomorrow in Ohio. I only had a couple of horses in here, so I said, you know what? I'm going to go tomorrow morning. I'm going to go do the twos and training video with Curtis, and then I'm going to go to Oliver's baseball game. I'm going to forgo Ohio and go right to Pennsylvania tomorrow after the game. We're going to get to Pennsylvania late, by the way. Yeah, we're going to be late to the game, or late to, it's got to be, if Simcoe's one I'm thinking of, it's down towards the border, but it's still, for sure, a good 4.5 hours. So we're not going to even get there till 1 o'clock in the morning. But we have 5 horses. Jason Merriman's going to take the 5 babies that we're schooling. So those of you maybe not paying attention to my other videos, we have 5 horses schooling at the Meadows. These are horses getting ready for the stake jurisdiction, maybe the next generation horses. I did not want to take Uncle Danny and Muscle Chrome's baby Tomboy Strong over Tuesday because they went Thursday. These horses trained on Tuesday. Perfect Thought, Jailbird Jog, Dios Della Danza, Highest Honors. Who did I say? Perfect Thought. I'm losing my mind now. It doesn't have far to go. Give me 1 second. It's right here. Yes. Highest Honors, Dios Della Danza, Jailbird Jog, Go Strong Hanover, and Perfect Thought will all school Tuesday at the Meadows. Now, so I'm going to go there, and then I'm off for the rest of the day Tuesday. So going to keep a very close eye on our horses. I talked to Lisa, the paddock judge. She thought to be 3 schoolers. So I have to go with Dios Della Danza. I'd like to go with Perfect Thought, Jailbird Jog for sure. So that leaves Highest Honors and Go Strong Hanover that somebody else can go with. And Tim said he had 2 schoolers too. Just a busy time of year. I want to get them schooled today. Then we have our qualifiers next week. We're probably going to have 12 to 14 of them going to the Meadows on the 10th. So this ball is starting to roll now, right? You can see it starting to pick up speed. It's going to be, well, it is crazy. I mean, Amy and I have to at some point just take a couple hours this afternoon, sit down. Ava's going to help me. We're going to fill out a calendar for the next month for the McDonald family because there's a lot of stuff we can do, a lot of stuff we'd like to do, but we just can't do everything. So I'm going to talk about, I was going to talk about the 2-year-olds. You know what? I'm going to start with my opening. I'm going to do my opening right now. Ava's going to help me because she is here with me. She'll be a stand-in for her mother, Amy, who is in Ontario.
Do I get to make a top 10 list?
No, there'll be no top 10 list for you. You wouldn't even know 10 horses in the barn. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So, it's just, a lot of people ask, what are you doing this week? Until we build this calendar out and review it, I don't know. Baseball for my son is paramount. Ava has some dance recitals. That's paramount. Addie has nothing but has everything at the same time. She wants to go to baseball. She wants to go to swimming. She wants to be a skydiver, an astronaut, a police officer. Who knows what Addie wants to do? But she's going to have the best of both worlds, all the worlds, this summer, I'm sure.
Fair track she wants to go. She told me she wants to go to fair track.
I don't know. I didn't pay a whole bunch of horses into fairs this year because it's different. It changed a little bit over the last couple of years. It went from, you could go and there might be 1 or 2 divisions to, you might go and there'll be 4 divisions now. A lot of people go to the fairs, and I don't know what horses we have left that are eligible to the fairs. I'll have a look at it. I'd love to go to the fairs. I want to go to the fairs. It's just, that's how busy things are right now, is that I can't even figure out a way to get to the fairs. Anyway, we talked about Ollie's baseball, obviously, in both countries. How busy the summer is about to be, and it's just beginning right now. Like I said, you can just feel that that roller coaster just ever so slightly creeping to the top, and then it's going to be that blur, right? That June, July, August blur. And I slept in a little bit today for the first time in forever. I woke up, it was 9:45. I don't know the last time I slept in. I've seen you put a show on. You slept in the other day till about 1 o'clock. So I've seen that show. But it's just nice. I told you guys about the other night how I just got to take the night off, and I got to watch Ollie's game and watch the Blue Jays and just have a night with my family. And it sounds so stupid, right? That you just can't, but it's just so hard to do. And it was so nice to see Lyle and Shelley come over, Amy's parents, stepmom and dad, to come over, and Nita and Bob to come over for Ava's graduation. It just allowed us it forced me to have a day. And it shouldn't take that, but we're just stuck in this perpetual loop of horse racing, and it just keeps dragging you in further sometimes. And it's nice sometimes just to have something that forces you to say, no, I'm going to take the night, and then just be with the kids. And that's what I'm trying to do with these calendars, is figure out where I have to be, Ollie has to be, Ava has to be, Amy, and even Addie, and then try and insert something just for us to do. There's a music, really cool music. Ollie and I went to see Hootie and the Blowfish last year, and they have Mumford and Sons playing there. Odd story. I remember, your first time dad and your baby's born. I remember the first time Ava was home and I was playing music and one of Mumford and Sons songs come on. I'm not a huge fan. I remember seeing clips of them playing in the Red Rock. I think it's in Denver, maybe, something like that. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I saw that they were playing in June at the Blossom Music Center. It's literally 6 miles from where we're staying right now. And I thought it would be nice to go. It's on the 18th, which is a Wednesday. Usually I'm a little busy on a Wednesdays, but it's one of those things. No, it's a Wednesday. It's one of those things where I can just say, Hamilton, you wanted to go see, is on a Thursday. Mm-hmm. I told you I'd take you Thursday night. I'm not doing anything. Now, if Ollie's playing baseball, we can go on the Sunday afternoon. But again, this is where we have to look at the calendar. Now you're starting to get a glimpse at how crazy things are, for us, and especially this time of year. The jurisdictional stakes, we're trying to figure out who's going where and when they have to be there. Right? Jailbird Jog. She going to New Jersey. She going to Kentucky. My gut feeling right now is Kentucky. But things can change, right? We also have Love Sensation. I don't think she's going to make it to Kentucky, but she is going to go to or New Jersey, but she is going to make it to Kentucky. Do we take in New York? When's he going to be ready? Degas, what do we do with her? There's a fair the week before, on the 18th. The stakes start on the 23rd in Kentucky. On the 18th, there's a fair down there. I could easily see Degas in New York racing there. Now, does it make sense for me to fly in and race a horse in the fair? No, of course not. But by the time Eric leaves here, he'll have a race bike, he'll have all the harnesses and the horses, and we'll have at least 5 to 7 horses for him and Kathy to go down there with. This is a little bit of a late start for them with us. They usually go down for Oak Grove. I didn't feel we had the right horses to go to Oak Grove this year. I won't hesitate next year and the year after. We're always trying to make things better and change things. And I told you guys, not being able to acquire the horses we wanted this fall and winter kind of bothered me a little bit. And how do I change that? I've talked a little bit about that. I think this fall before Harrisburg, I'm just going to get on a plane and go to the East Coast. And I'm going to tour around to all the barns, just like an Amishman with no beard. And just walk in the barn and just say, hey, anything for sale? Everybody always has a horse or two they can move, right? That doesn't mean they get to the point where they put it on gate. They go home, they open up on gate, they fill out the thing, they put it on there. There's tons of horses that are for sale that don't make it to that level. That could do us some good in Ohio. And for that matter, you go in and maybe somebody has a really good horse that maybe they were on the fence of selling or not. But when you're staring somebody in the eyes of that is looking to buy a horse, and you have a horse, it may be a wiser play than just to go and wait for them to pop up an on gate. I've never been a wait and see type guy, right? I'm always going to be the guy that is trying to be ahead of those types of things. And I just feel that it was just I was going to say perfect storm, but it wasn't a perfect storm. I was waiting, right? Everybody's waiting to see what's going on gate and coming on preferred. Well, go and ask. And I think that's what I'm going to do this fall. So you're starting to see the babies take shape now. Amy and I talked in depth about them last week. You're going to continue to see them take shape. I've been thoroughly pleased with what I saw. Listen, I say it all the time, this very same thing. I'm aware I'm an optimistic guy, but I've been blown away with how good some of these horses have been training. That means nothing. Maybe everybody's been blown away with the way their horses are training. Maybe it's going to be a bumper crop for all 2-year-olds this year. Who knows? But I've been thoroughly pleased with ours. Now, this past week, we've had a fantastic week. Been a long time since I've called myself a driver. I drive our horses. I've never told anybody, no, I won't drive your horse. So in that regard, I guess I am a driver. But it was a great feeling yesterday. The last 6 drives I had, I won. And I remember joking, I said to Dave, it's nice that you let me win a couple of races. I appreciate that. And as I went by him, if you watch the slow motion with Patrick DePrana, he says, be nice to let us win one. Which obviously is coming from him. He's won 2.6 million races.
What?
He's the winningest. He's got 21,000 wins lifetime. I have 3,700. So, and I was there last week. He won 9 races on one card and 8, I think, the next day. It was quite the show, and he turns it on, man. He turns it on. Anyway,
Battle of Lake Erie this week?
What's that?
Is Battle of Lake Erie this week?
June 7th, you're right, it is. It's on June the 7th. I don't think we have anything for it. I thought Save America would be good enough. I am toying with the idea of sending a big chunk of the ownership of Save America is in the Maritimes. And Tommy and John and a number of other clients are asking, Save America, would you ever think of bringing him home for the Governor's Plate, which is in Summerside? Never raced in it, seen it when I was a kid. I saw it every year when I was a kid.
What plate?
It's called the Governor's Plate. It's in Summerside.
What's that again? Oh.
The other side of PEI, yeah. So I used to go there. They used to have Lobster Carnival Week, which is the big week in Summerside, and then Old Home Week, this big week in Charlottetown. So,
You can't go for Old Home Week.
yeah, no. I'm going to send a note out to Smitty and see what his thoughts are. I can't remember the purse of it. I bet you it's pretty decent. Pretty decent there right now. So it's something I would entertain. For the horse especially, he's had such a tough time of it late, and it's not. I'm certainly not saying that it'd be easy time of it down there, but Save America's a pretty good horse, and he would be approaching that big fish in a small pond type feel, I think, if he went to especially Summerside, if not Charlottetown. So I think that it's something we can look into for sure. So we did have a great week. I won the 6 races in a row. We have our horses in tonight, and I thought tonight was the night that we were going to have a good night. I'm always surprised that Spitfire Overseas can get around to half. We had to change his shoes this week. We had to take those mushroom bars off him. There were going to be a problem. I picked his foot up, and Jason and I are looking at his foot, and I'm like, I don't know. Like his feet are almost on the ground with the shoes on because he's just got such pie plate flat feet. And I think they were just digging into the frog area a little too much. And I said, well, he won 3 in a row with ag bars on. When he went on that tear at the Meadows before he went to Woodbine the first time, he had ag bars on then. He does chew at himself a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, those are the shoes that they actually trained him with when he was in Northfield, when they made the decision that they thought, Eric and Jason were the ones that there, they thought that he would get around Northfield. So those were actually the shoes to get on. Now we get the 7-hole again, which doesn't matter. I mean, I got away 6 last week. You can't leave that much anyway. You're obviously at the mercy of the pace of the front end, but a big mile from him last week. So I'm interested. Greatest Ending's starting to really come around. I was really impressed with the show he put on last week. So I'm interested to see how he's going to do also. But the week that's passed, we had a great week. We had 2 horses win on Saturday night. One of them won twice this week.
What'd you do to my thing?
I fell off. I don't know what it did. I don't know. I just came in one day and it looks like my car now. I mean, it's all smashed up. It's screen scragged, broken. This thing's off the end of it. So Mountains for All, 2 wins this week. I love that. I love that. just come out, and he was better last night than he was on Wednesday. I knew at the quarter pole he was going to jog last night. When I came first over with him, never, not even for a second was there a doubt in my mind he wasn't going to win. And he was good last night. And, you know, we talk about whether he's going to sell. I'm not giving the horse away on Monday. I'm not giving him away. And if he doesn't sell for what I want him to, he has no more classes on Northfield. That's fine. I'll make you a deal. If we don't sell him on Monday, he'll be in Minnesota by next weekend. I think it's been a couple of years now since we had a horse with the Lems family. They did a tremendous job for us with Per Lucky. And Marcia is always lobbying for Minnesota. You know, obviously the trip to Maine for AJ did not work this week. But that's not to say he can't turn it around. You know, just a new place and a new face, and hopefully he can bounce back and race better next week. But I think, I think Mounds for All would be a good horse for Minnesota, though. I believe. Anyway, we'll see. If he sells tomorrow, he sells tomorrow. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But a big week from him. Rosa and Alexandra, I think she raced great last night. I had to move her. I just knew that she was selling Monday. You know, you had that voice in your head saying she doesn't race her best on the front end as far as I'm concerned. You know, she has been racing good, but enough to really manhandle that class? No, not really. But I said I'm not leaving it on the table. I'm going to see for sure what she can and can't do. And she certainly dug down deep and got the job done last night. So good job by her for sure. Now, we did start off the week. You never lose Felix also. He's in the sale Tuesday. I thought he's a slam dunk to sell, that horse. I you know, get around any size track. Doesn't really wear any boots. Pretty easy on himself. I just thought that there'd be a lot of people interested in him. And as of right now, 1:30 on Sunday, there isn't a bid on him. Now, obviously, the vast majority of the bidding comes in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of the sale. But can you stop that, please? Don't do that.
You just did it.
I'm 48. You're 14. I hear one more knuckle crack, and I'll be taking that phone for the rest of the day. So, a good week for the 3 horses in the sale. Not very often you enter 3 horses in the sale, and all 3 of them won this week. In fact, between the 3 of them, they won 4 times this week. So it's a good run in that regard. Time is on my side. I was so pleased with him last night. You know, I'll tell you a funny story. So James messages me. He hates the mushroom shoes, right? And I keep telling James, every horse is very different. And there's no... I really don't believe there's only one pair of shoes for that horse. Oh my God, finally we got him shod properly. I just think the horse was sound and good. Now, that's not to say some horse, you know, you get a horse with a quarter crack that needed a window bar or something. That's different. But I've worn mushroom shoes on Time Is On My Side forever, right? And a lot of the drivers will get off and say, I don't know if he likes those bars. Well, he made 400 with them on. Paced 49, in fact. 1 in 49 in the mud, 1 in 49 otherwise. And here's the thing. When you take those shoes off and put normal shoes on him, because we have trained him back and trained him, and I think we probably raced him in other shoes too. He get on the right line in the turns a little more, and then he'll get out in the straightaways a little more. And the longer those shoes are off him, the more he gets on that line. So James messaged me last night, and he goes, "So you raced great. He had a normal pair of shoes on." I said, "Great." He said he was on the right line a little bit. I said, that right line will get worse and worse and worse. Now, as I say that, before you start saying, well, you got to get those shoes back on, just hold on. He's now starting to race on bigger tracks, right? He's got the Meadowlands. The Breeders' Crown is back in Ontario. So a lot of big track racing. This horse is going to change now. He does run in the turns. He does run out in the straightaways. The bigger the turns, the less he runs in. So I think you're going to see this horse, there'd be just a tiny bit of a metamorphosis. He's paced in 48 his last 2. I think you're going to see him continue to pace in 48, 49, and maybe even sub 48 at some point this summer. He's going to race in a hot track and a good track at the Meadowlands. They're all going to go fast all year. I think I was to a point where I didn't know how special he was, right? There's open pace. There's, next level kind of 4-year-old Grand Circuit type horses. And then there's the cream of the crop. And I just didn't know where he fit. I believe what we're looking at and what we have is a cream of the crop type horse. He's going to get better and better and better and better. As he stays on those big tracks, as his confidence grows, he is going to get better. And that is an impressive and a surprising statement that I just made, because even I didn't know how good he'd be. But after watching him race 2 races in a row at Mohawk, James kind of shook him free last week and revved him up, and he paced 48-1. Did all the work, carried all the water that day. And then last night, the opposite. I thought he would race him like he did last night the week before. But he was flying at the wire. He had the freshest legs at the wire last night. So great job by James, great job by Harry. I don't know if we haul down Nujinski even if we're sitting there, but we will beat those horses. He was one of the best horses last year, Nujinski.
Was he in the O'Brien? Was he one of those?
He was. He did.
Yeah, that's
right.
why I heard.
Yes, that's right.
That's why I heard you say.
So, Time Is On My Side was tremendous, and I think he's going to be a very, very good horse. Now, where does he go from here? I think there's only 2 places he can go. I haven't talked to Megan much about taking Time Is On My Side because, and it's unfair to Megan, but it's part of life. You know, you have Scotty who has horses to drive. Now, she can't race against Scotty. Scotty can't pick off her horses. So it does kind of put her in a tough spot. Tim has had the horse his whole life. Sophie loves the horse. And the horse is going to go, and this James said he has to go down to the East Coast. And I said, James, stop. He's not going there right away. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter where you race at the Meadowlands, you're shipping 2 hours, right? With traffic and everything, you're shipping 2 hours. So I think we can train the horse at the Meadows, ship the horse in 3 days before to the Meadowlands, and race him. I don't think there'll be a problem in doing that. And that's exactly what we are going to do. I have zero interest in just sending him down there and racing him out of Trainer X's barn, right? I just don't know. Most of those big trainers have horses in the Graduate Series anyway. So I don't really know how we benefit from that. Now, as I say that, nothing's set in stone. I told Tim last night I'm probably leaning towards sending the horse back to the Meadows and then racing him in New Jersey via that way, because he does have 2 races, the Eward and the Dayton Derby in Ohio, which would be 2.5, 3 hour ship from the Meadows anyway. Many people would. And then he goes back to the Breeders' Crown in Ontario shortly thereafter, and he'll go to Harry. I think that's fair. Harry's done a great job with the horse. And Harry had the horse before Tim did. If you guys have a good enough memory, the horse trained down. We trained him down, but he raced out of Harry's barn as a 2-year-old. Now, that's before he was Time Is On My Side, but clearly Harry has a good handle on him, and the horse raced great last night. So we won't worry about that. But for now, I do have some pondering to do. I know that Tim wants the horse back, and I want to send him the horse. But I want to do what's best for Time Is On My Side if he has to race in New Jersey. So the timeline also is important, because if he's going to have back-to-back-to-back, which he doesn't, but if he has 3 or 4 New Jersey races in close proximity, well, then it does make sense to have him in New Jersey. And at that point, we'll figure out what we're going to do with him and how we're going to do that. So that's the biggest tricky issue as it pertains to even the sophomores. Anything older than a rookie right now, than a 2-year-old, that would be our only issue right now, is Time Is On My Side. And the reason it's an issue is because clearly he belongs, and clearly he will get to the winner's circle in that division at some point. I believe that's fair to say. Now, also this week, I was so pleased with Grand Slam Dio. You know, I touted her and Melisandre as getting better and better and better and better and better. They just haven't broken through yet. Grand Slam Dio did. It was odd. It was the most inclement day, and it was just pouring rain out of the sky, and she won by open lengths in 56. And luckily, as fate would have it, we had her back in to go. See, her class does get written for Wednesdays, but it was pushed, and she ended up racing on a Friday. Well, they still have to draw the card on Wednesday. So what everybody thought, Tim thought also, would be if we carry it to Thursday and then maybe carry it to Friday, but it would end up being a weak situation. Instead, what they did fill it on Wednesday. Now, we're asking her to come back in 5 days, Friday, Wednesday, but we're also asking her to do it in the maiden, which she wouldn't have fit after Friday. But her win was after the draw of the morning. So as the draw was made for the maiden trot on Wednesday, she did fit it. It's already carded. You can't scratch her after the draw. It's the same situation with Mounts for All. He fit the non-winner as a 7. They drew Saturday on Wednesday. Well, he won his 7th race on Wednesday, but they'd already drawn for Saturday. So he still fit the class at the time of entry. So Grand Slam Deal was great and very unused for a mile and 56 on a pouring rain day. You know, earplugs were in. She was very, very good. So really excited about her, and I chickened out. I told you guys that I was gonna take the hobbles off Melisandre. She the 7-hole. I'm looking at the entries. I'm like, geez, I think I can win that race if she gets a good trip. And Tim goes, "Do you want to take the hobbles off?" And maybe we'll wait one more time for her. I'm certain she'll be fine without them. Obviously, I'm not 100% certain, or she wouldn't have them on for Wednesday. But I'm 92% sure she'll be perfectly fine without hobbles on. So Melisandre I was pleased with, and Grand Slam deal pleased with also. Arrowhead Hanover was so good. So good. Well, I know where I have to be next Sunday. I have to be in the Poconos. Is it Sunday or Saturday? I think Tim's Filly goes on Saturday, and the 2 Trotting Colts, Manhattan Money and Arrowhead Hanover, go on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Freedom Hill was very good. Not as good as she could have been. I think she should have been a winner. Maybe hung out like a little bit. Maybe hung out a little bit on the end of it, but wasn't horrible. They went in 57, and I guess it was fair. Her defense attorney on that night was Jason, and he said, well, to be fair, she's only ever trotted 58 here, and she just trotted 57 and 2. Good call. You're right. Not the end of the world. Foxy Seaside was great. You saw her put a couple of steps in the first turn. Just can't wear the flip-flops, I don't think, on her. We just went to a full swedge with some borium up front. Probably going to let her hobbles out a hole also. But 52 she paced. Big mile for her. Moved her 2 times. Left hard with her. Removed her at the half hard and got picked off by 2 favorites. I like the way she raced. I like the way he raced her, and she should be better for it next week also. Gaslight Hall was great. Did show a couple of specks of blood. We put him on Lasix. I don't think, now I did have plans for him in Chicago Hall to go to Oak Grove. Corbin at the end of the year when the stakes are finished. I don't think that will pose a problem. Chicago's shown blood before, so maybe that would be problematic for him. We might be able to get him through a start or 2. But Gaslight Hall's never really had an issue. Trotted 26-1 with no Lasix before. But as we start to come into the heat of the summer, I'd be remiss if I didn't say where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't really want to just gamble and say, oh, he'll be all right next week. Then we go to race him in a stake and he shows a little bit more blood. Let's nip that in the bud. And then at the end of the season, we will race him at Corbin and see if he'll be fine. But I suspect he will be. Looks Like Money again was great. Was he awesome? No, he wasn't spectacular, but he was very good. And I was really, really happy with the way he raced. It's pretty hard not to be. Horse has been absolutely tremendous all year long at the Meadows. He is really, really good. Yo Mister continues to be pretty good for Stacy and Brett. Again, another second, 52. Horse race great. I was really happy with the way he raced. Tenacious Hanover, who isn't the soundest horse. We know that. It's a constant struggle to keep him good, and Tim and his team do an absolutely fantastic job with this horse. But the horse is racing good. Now, he too moves out of that class. But as I said to Tim, I think he'll be fine in the class above it. I know they go 52 some days, but you know what? If you keep him this good, I'm telling you, he'll be competitive in the class above it. So we'll see. We'll see very, very soon. Patrick the Piranha, every so often old Patrick shows up. I was jokingly telling you yesterday, when he hasn't been gritty, he hasn't been tough, and when push comes to shove, he's been a little slight this year. But in the last turn, it's almost like he's eyeing up the situation. All right, I'm second over. That horse's earplugs are out. That horse's earplugs are out, and he's done. That horse there has been out first over. His earplugs are out. I probably should win this race. And then he just goes and gets it done. Whereas other times, if there was a little adversity facing him up there, he might just come up a tiny bit short, but race pretty decent. There's nothing wrong with that. The horse owes us nothing. He's been a good horse for us forever. But man, he dug down yesterday again, 51 and 2, had to come 27 apiece, 28 on the end of it, and got the job done. So great job by Patrick yesterday. And then, as I said at the start, we had Mounts for All and Roser and Alexander both bounce out with victories last night. It was a great feeling. Left the track, not often. As a driver, you can't often say, I won the last 6 races I was in. It doesn't happen very often. So I do feel good as I committed tonight at Northfield Park, especially since if I looked at all the race cards all week long, sure, I knew that Grand Slam Dio had a shot, Looks Like Money had a shot. The Meadows, we always have pretty good outings. But when I looked at all the cards, 1, the most interesting one, aside from time last night, and 2, the one I thought we could have the most damage, do the most damage, was tonight's card at Northfield Park with Greatest Ending. Definitely Greatest Ending and Spitfire Overseas Racing. I think we have 4 in tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I can look
Why
right
were
now.
there so many people there last night
Where?
at Northfield? Usually there's not a lot of people.
You know, sometimes there's people that come out in the tarmac. It was a decent night. They had some good races. Yeah, we have Neptune tonight, who, you know, he got roughed up 2 times. He's raced 3 times. He got a win in 2/3, and he got beat up 2 of them and won the other one. So, you know, there you have it. And then Vehement. All 4 of these horses have very, very good shots to win tonight.
I thought you said you were selling Vehement.
No, there's no need to right now. I mean, he's taking pretty good care of himself. He always kind of stays in the same class. So, those horses will race tonight. Now, big news also, Trosa, just a speck of blood last night. So, Harry now has him in a good place. Now, can we race him every single week and keep his airway clean and keep him comfortable? I hope so. Hopefully, now that we have him on aggressive medical treatment to race this horse. And it's all, you know, all legal above the board stuff. This is just a regiment that the veterinarians have set out for Trosa. If Harry can keep him good and keep him on that schedule, keep him healthy, then we'll see. But if he regresses at all, then again, he'll be going to see Dr. Green. He'll be out to the summer. He'll be out to the grass for the summer. So, as I said, you guys are getting a pretty good look at how busy the summer gets at the stable and how busy it is for my family. But you know what? That's summer. You know, I love this game. We all love this game, and I feel lucky and blessed that our kids get to you know, grow up in this setting. And I'll tell you one thing, just a parting note, and I said it the other night. I was so pleased, and I told Ollie how proud I was of him the other night. You know, here's a kid that anytime he goes to baseball practice in Ontario, he knows it's almost 5 hours, if not. Every time he goes to play baseball, it's the same. So he's in the car, you know, he's on his way to baseball. They get in a car accident, right? Smash the car up. It's traumatic for everybody, regardless. Amy, you know, thankfully everybody was fine. Even the dog was fine. You can't kill Cruz, clearly. He's the devil. He's got to be the devil. Everybody's fine. Everybody's a little shook up, right? It's a little traumatic. If you've ever been in a car accident, you know what I'm talking about. But for that boy to get out of that car, they get a rental, and drove all the way to the baseball game. 3 innings are over. The entire team knows he's been in a car accident. Jumps out of the car. Nobody was expecting him to go. And I just said, you know what, Ollie, if you want to, good for you. If you want to, that's good for you. Go show up for your team. Show them that how dedicated and committed you are to the team. Cheer your teammates on. I'm thinking, he's not going to play, right? Go and have a catch with some of the kids that are maybe sitting that inning. Just be present. Lo and behold, he gets there. They put him in the 5th inning. He gets a single, scores a run, and plays out the rest of the game. So, I think, you know, maybe people disagree with that. There was nothing wrong with him, but it just shows. And I was proud of him, because taking your job seriously is something that you don't just absorb it. It's the person you are from birth, I believe, and the person you're made to be. And I take my job seriously. You guys know that. I joke around a lot, and I bring levity to any type of situation I can. But I take my job seriously, and I hope that my children do too. And to see Ollie go out and do that the other night, it meant a lot. And it's not like he was just excited to go play baseball. He played baseball the night before in Ohio. So it made me very proud to see him do that, and my wife too. You know, to go there, and she was in the front, right? She had, you know, I'm sure she's got some bruising. She said her calf was a little sore. You know, for her to take him there was a big deal also. So, very proud of my family. Very proud of my boy this week. Ava and I are off to the restaurant. We're going to go check out Market 42. Give you guys an update later on. But apparently, the food is spectacular. So, have a great day. Have a great weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm going to talk to all of you very, very soon. It is summer. It is here. And it just like we're going down this hill to go out the driveway, I can feel the roller coaster starting to descend. Take care.